thank you very much. We also today, you'll see in the 204s, it's not in the 203, a staging area. So if you're showing in staging, then that staging will be out here in the engine parking area, and you have a staging area manager. It's Rick Cooper, and you'll be using channel 4. Thank you, Rick. You'll be using channel 4 on the load, and Rick will just have you come over here to the left, to the right, stage right, and meet up with those staging resources. End of report.
Air operations.
Good morning, everyone. If you open up to page 24 in your IAP and take a look at the air op summary, in there you'll see all the information you need. We're still working off of 1 air to ground, so make sure that frequency, you have that in your radio, but also you have it on scan and you're monitoring it. So especially if you have aircraft working up in your area, in your division, you need to be up on the radio listening to that, so you got your situational awareness of where they're working, but more importantly of where they're dropping and where that is in relationship to you and your crews. We're gonna have air attack up over the fire at 8 o'clock, so when you get out there, push any of your needs up to your divisions and they'll make those requests for aircraft. One last thing too is want to remind everybody, be on the lookout for any unauthorized drones. So anything you see out there, and for drones, you know, make that, push that up to your divisions and stuff so we can vet it out. So that's really important because that's going to hamper our operations. So if you think or anybody out there you see that's operating a drone and they don't know if they're authorized, that pretty much is probably a pretty good indicator that they haven't been authorized to use their drone on the fire. Thanks.
Communications.
Good morning, Armando Delatorre, Communications. So with staging, things for you to pencil in. I'll give you guys a chance to grab a pen and pull out your the markup on the 205. That way you can, it covers everybody. On channel 4 for your tactical is listed as Division Golf. You're going to want to add staging in on that. They're going to be sharing the TAC with them. Channel 8, Tactical, Division Zulu. They're still sharing Night Division Zulu. Doesn't affect anybody here, but it is a change. And then, oh, sorry. On the air to ground, the frequency and tones on there were misprinted in the 205. Where the tones and frequencies in your radios are still correct. The pencil change will be for 168.400 on the transmit and receive side. Your transmit and receive tones are zeroed out. And with that being said, everybody communicate safely and have a good shift.
Medical.
Good morning, everybody. Robert Russell, Medical Unit. So for today's operational period, we're going to continue with the same ground-based resources down at the bottom in Branch 20, which are the 2 LA County Rescue Squads with the BLS ambulances. Additionally, for today's operational period, we're going to have a ground-based ALS 4x4 ambulance up on the top covering the Branch 5, Branch 10 area and Charlie Delta. So we're continuing to work on building up our organization with additional resources to support your needs. So one of the things I always say is that when you go out there on the line, I want you to have a plan. I want you to continue to think about what that plan is, not only during briefing, but when you do your breakouts and at your tailboards and throughout the operational period to make sure that it is still a good plan to respond in the event of a line emergency. Communicate your resource needs up according to the plan as found on the back of the IAP and on page 118 of your 2022 IRPGs. The last thing, in the event of a green emergency, run that through the division. They'll be able to contact, get our ground-based resources out there to mitigate your needs, and we don't need to hold or clear a command for emergency traffic for the minor medicals. That said, have a wonderful, safe shift.
Safety.
Good morning, Dave Welch, Team 5 Safety. How you guys doing today? Good. A lot of people here. This is just a fraction of what's working for us. Okay, so let's start with our hazards, our safety record. Safety record so far has been awesome. All right, we did have one incident yesterday. Firefighter fell through a roof and injured an ankle. Okay, so thank you for your safety record. Let's keep that up. Especially you really need to be careful. A lot of hazards there. Most the main one being the electrical wires as if they're live. Okay, please reinforce that with your folks. Also, your footing, know where you're walking, make sure you're paying attention if all of a sudden you're waking up down below. Next thing that we have is personal hygiene. It's flu season. Please make sure that hand sanitizer does not kill the norovirus. Hand washing with soap is what does it, and it has to be a long time. So please make sure that you're staying healthy. We also have other folks up there on the hill. Make sure that you're driving defensively, all right? Make sure that you have a plan if that vehicle stops in front of you all of a sudden, that you have the proper following distances, especially as we're traveling in the strike team configuration, that we're not putting one engine in the back of another engine. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Logistics.
Morning, everybody. Ken Earl, Logistics Section Chief Trainee. We're here to support your needs, and now we're going to tell you how to do that. Way 12 and 12 shift, obviously grab a 12-hour lunch. Kind of way over here, you'll see the big reefer truck. Cloning for radios is going to be around, for those of you who were here yesterday, where yesterday's briefing was. You come around this way, you'll see 3 white trailers. It's just on the other side of that. Tomorrow, we expect to be setting up over here. Dinner tonight will be served at the camp kitchen, which is setting up down on the far end of this parking lot. Right now, there is the Cal Fire kitchen is set up over near ground support and supply. If you know where those are, they're across the canal over here on the far side. Also, that's where you're going to find fuel. And for right now, if you're in camp and you want to go to the D entrance down over here on the 4th floor, they're also serving food right there right now. And we also do have sleeper trailers in for those of you who need the sleeper trailers. They're set up down on the far end of the camp back down here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to anyone from logistics and let us know if you have any problems or concerns. Thank you.
Finance.
Good morning, Teresa Fork, Finance Section Chief. Okay, I just want to let you know in your IAP there is a message for federal resources to be able to turn in their times and how we want it done. There's also a message for OES. If you're a CFAA resource, as OES is set up over here, you need to check in with them. And also if you have any issues for needing reimbursement for lodging, food, and anything before it's sent, work for you guys to get started on that. Also, we have Cal Fire, and they are set up in the white trailers. Have a good shift. Thanks.
Human resources.
Good morning. I all know that I am available if you have any HR related concerns. My information is in. If you have any questions. With that, have a safe shift.
All right, next we have our Deputy Forest Supervisor from the Angeles National Forest, Tony Martinez.
Hey, good morning. I just want to acknowledge all the good work that's happening, especially the effort around Mount Wilson yesterday. We've got a lot of critical infrastructure there for communications throughout the whole LA basin, so that was a good save. Appreciate it. Also want to acknowledge the continued good work as being ambassadors for us throughout the community. There's a lot of hurt and devastation. Just continue to be sensitive to our community members, and appreciate all the work on behalf of Have a good shift, and thank you.
All right, next we'll have Kevin Bohall and Dustin Mueller.
First off, thanks all. January to come down here. So appreciation for that. A lot of you guys are left your families at home, and we're thinking about that. So talking about unified command and what it means, there's multiple jurisdictions here that we're helping out. So there's probably around 9 unified incident commanders, a big group of people. So we wanted to discuss a little bit about what that means and how we brought in 2 teams to merge those 2 teams. So there's 2 specific mission tasking. There's the wildland fire environment, put the fire out, which Kevin will talk about as well. But there's team 3 as well, that we're all 3 together. We're all 3 going to be in the same trailer in the same area, and any of the 3 of ICs that you talk to, we'll have the same answer. So that's what our main purpose is today, to explain that, because it is a little wonky, but it's kind of a normal thing here. Have a great shift. I'm going to turn over to Chief Bohall.
Yeah, thank you for the word. So first thing I kind of wanted to go over here is there's a lot more going on here, obviously, than a wildfire. I don't need to talk about that gravity. But in the future, as we go through this incident, we're doing what we can for the public specifically, right? So the public here has came in and talked to us a bunch of times. Specifically, local, state, and federal folks have showed up. The locals are really happy with what you guys are doing. What we're doing now is going to set up for what's going to happen here in the future. I would say as far as first responders here, regardless of patch or regardless of what we're doing, we all actually have one mission. This mission is turning into an all-risk mission. What we're doing here is going to essentially get us set up for what we can do to get those folks back into their homes and back to a sense of normalcy. Set up for what we can do to get those folks back into their homes and back to a sense of normalcy. Thank you. Have a good shift.
All right. Just a few housekeeping items before we let you go. We appreciate your attention during this briefing. Any unassigned resources, if you are not on the IEP, any unassigned resources, come up here to the front of the stage, and we'll have some resource unit leaders to get you an assignment. Also, the breakouts are posted around the briefing area, so take a look on which division you have the breakouts posted through here. There is a cooperators meeting this morning at 10 o'clock. My right, your left, there's a breezeway. You go down to the bottom, you'll see a sign. It's in Media Room A is where that cooperators meeting will be. Tonight here in front of the stage. Everybody be productive, be safe, and have a good shift. Thank you for your time.